and welcome back to the fourth gift of Christmas, and this is the crochet thread Christmas balls, and these are quite spectacular. These are just regular plastic Christmas balls that you can pick up at the major retailers just like you see, and you can also use glass if you want to, but this one is actually plastic, and you can actually spiffen up your balls and actually put some crochet thread around it in order to really change its look. I find this is more of a gift to give away because I think that these are really quite special looking once you get them done, and really quite excited about that as well. So you're going to need a plastic or glass Christmas ball. You can see the size of the ball compared to my hand, but I'm going to put the more information about this ball on the more information of this video, so you can actually know, and I'll show you where in the video where you can change it in order to make it for smaller balls as well. The thread that we're using today is the the Bernat Handy Crafter, and this is crochet thread, and really quite nice. The color coordination that you see here is really providing a really quite nice effect on the ball, and this color coordination is called Adrift, A-D-R-I-F-T, and this is the Bernat Handy Crafter crochet thread. And finally, the crochet needle or hook that we're using today is a 2.5 millimeter, and it's going to require me to be steady on the camera in order to show you how to make this particular ball. So let's get started on this. So let's get started, and we're going to create a slip knot, which is your starting point. And usually if you're going to be doing this project, you're probably going to be experienced, so I won't go slowly at that. And I want you to chain 8. Okay, this never counts as 1, and let's begin to do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this is the circle underneath the ball. And what I want you to do is put the beginning stitch on to the hook again and pulling a slip stitch all the way through so that you can trap that particular circle into position. So what I want you to do now is move up to the next step, and what we want to do is we want to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and now I want you to double crochet yourself all the way around inside the circle. So grabbing your material, going into the circle, and I want you to leave the straggler on the top because that'll get trapped into position. Okay, and I want you to do that 19 times. Okay, so just continue to go. You can count as you go, or you can count when you think you got enough. And again, keep that straggler into position on top of it so that it traps it into position, and I'll catch you back up when we finish this rotation. So continue and make 19 double crochets, and then what you want to just do is slip stitch the circle together, but we'll catch back up in just a second. I've now finished my 19, and all I want to do now is slip stitch to the top of the first chain, just like so. And you're going to see that this is the straggler that came out from the center, and what I want you to just do is to snip that up because it's now trapped in a position, so it's now out of the way. And let's begin to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I want you to come in to the second over. So look very carefully, 1 and 2, going over, and we're going to single crochet ourselves into position. Okay, and then chain 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then single, so we skip 1 and go to the second one over, and I want you to do that all the way around. So chain 4, and then when you go to single crochet, you make sure you skip 1, and you should have a total left of 10 particular of these little crochet 4 spots at the end. So continue all the way around doing that. So now we're going to go around again, and this time if you count you should have 10 spots. So you're going to see that you did your chain 4 and you skipped over 1, and every time you did that on the base, then you should end up with 10 all the way around. So now what I want you to do is just chain 5, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and what I want you to just do is to single crochet yourselves into the top of the chain 4 section that you did below. Okay, so there was 1. So let's do it again. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then go to the next one that's over there and just go to the top. So just go right underneath of it, don't go into a stitch, and go all the way around, chaining 5, and then single crochet. We'll meet back up at the end. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're at the end of this rotation here, and I didn't want you to slip stitch at all. I just want you to hold, because we have to maintain the 10 all the way around. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you were to normally at the end of a hat or anything, we usually always bridge it over to create it, but then you'll end up with an odd number of 11. So we've just single crocheted ourselves into the top of the last one, and what I want you to just do now is just immediately jump to the next one that's available, and I want you to single crochet 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and now I want you to chain 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and now what I want you to just do is single crochet yourselves into the top of the next one, and I want you to single crochet 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. And then chain 9 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, and then come back down for a single crochet and keep doing that all the way around. We'll meet back up at the end where we'll continue along. We're now coming to the final of this particular rotation, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I sound like a crochet workout aerobic tape, but what we want to do is when we came across and we jumped across with these 3 single crochets when we started, that's exactly on the first one is where we want to come down. And what we want to do now is particularly is cast off, and we want to finish this at this particular point. And the reason why we're finishing it is that in the next step is that we actually have to start off at the top of one of these bad boys. So in order to get up there, we need to be able to switch over and be able to begin again, and we're just going to do a slip knot just like we did before. And we want to use this as a casting on for the next process of this. So what you're seeing here when you actually spread it out, it looks a lot different on a ball. And of course the ball is trapped on something. So when it goes on, what you're seeing here is that it's actually part of the one section, just like you see. So now what we have to do is we have to create the section that you can see. So on this one here, what we've just done is that we've done this section here. So now we have to create the opposite going in the other direction, and we have to start off at the top here and start at the bottom like I mentioned before. So let's begin again, and I'm just going to start it exactly where I finished off. So this is where I tied off, so I'm just going to move to my left, and I want to single crochet the casting on process, and I'm just going right into the particular loop instead of just into a stitch so that it can ride nice and easily. And what I want to do now is chain 9 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now I just want to single crochet into the next one over here. And you want to do that all the way around. So chain 9, single crochet, chain 9. And do that all the way around. We'll meet back up where we're going to continue this process. So I'm on the last part of this rotation. So let me do my 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And what I want to just do is where we've started here is exactly where I want to finish off. So I want to go right into the slip stitching spot where we started. That rotation to make it look even. Single crochet ourselves as normal. And now we're ready for the next step. So you should still have 10 around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's good. And now what I want you to do is now spread this out. Okay, and right here, if you notice in the ball, we have a beautiful thick line that is appearing up and down, almost like a cathedral kind of idea, and that is achieved through 12 single crochet. So let's go in, and we're just going to single crochet right into the actual piece itself. So just right underneath. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And so instead of slip stitching or anything, I just want you to immediately jump to the next one and put another 12, and I want you to do that in every one of them, coming back around, and we'll meet back up in the end again. So do that again. So 12 single crochet into each one of the outside loops. We now just single crochet 12 times into each one of the outside loops, as you can see, and now you can grab your ball here and really give it a good indication of what it's going to look like when it pulls over. So now the next part is exactly the measuring size that can change everything about this particular project. And what I'm about to tell you here is that I need you to slip stitch. Okay, so just continue to slip stitch along the edge till you get to the 6th one over. So that was 1. Okay, so just keep going over. So just to the 6th one, and the 6th one, because there was single crocheting of 12, the 6 means that technically you've just moved to the halfway point again, because if you look here where it's grabbing it is at the middle of the actual 12 points. So just do that and we'll meet back up in a second where we'll just continue along with this particular project. I'm now at the halfway point, so now what I want to do is chain 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So if I wanted something smaller, a smaller ball, I won't chain 15 there, I'll just go even smaller. So you can actually just do that. And what I want you to do is either you can look for the halfway point and guess it, or you can actually physically count the stitches. In my case, you know, I'm kind of lazy that way. I kind of just look at it and say that's the halfway point and just put in a single crochet. Okay, so do that all the way around, and you can actually get halfway and then determine, pull it over the ball, seeing if it's too much slack. If it's not enough, you can adjust that before you go all the way around, and then just either take away stitches or add, depending on how big your ball is really. So let's keep going with that. So let's finish off this project. We got our chain 15, and we're just going to pull it, and there is where we started, just like so. And we're going to come in, and we're going to do a single crochet. And what we want to do at this point as well is we want to cast off or fasten off. Okay, so we're going to fasten this off completely, leaving no loose ends at this point. Okay, so just do a weaving tying effect here and cut the string as close to, because this is crochet thread, it's a cotton thread or whatever it is. I have no idea what I'm talking about half the time, because it is that. You can tie it pretty tight and it won't unravel on you. So that works out to be pretty good, and we can just trim it nice and close like so. And now we want to get a piece from the actual ball. Okay, just like maybe about a foot long. You know, it's cheap enough thread that you can waste a bit of it if you have to. So let's begin, and we're going to now put this over top of the ball. Okay, so before we do that, I want you to take the string and I want you to feed it through the outside loop. Okay, coming towards you. So the next one goes to the back side and comes through the loop through the front. Okay, back, and keep doing that all the way around. It's kind of like a little basket at this point, and we just want to insert the ball in, just like so, and just using the two strings, kind of pull it up. I just don't want to let go of these loose ends that we have going down. Okay, we just want to kind of pull it up like almost pulling up socks. We want all the loops to come up to the top, like so. And see, all the loops are now gathering at the top. So now what I want to do is you've got to make sure all the loops are up before even really giving it a good tight tug. We would just want to tie it. So let's give it a nice good tight tug. Look at that. Oh my god, it's so perfect. I love it. Okay, this is where I think you need 2 hands, or 4 sets of hands. This is right at this particular point, because if it doesn't stay nice and tight, it will loosen out on you. So just got to be a little careful if you're by yourself doing this. Okay, so it did loosen off, as you can see right there. But you know what? This may happen to you, so what you can do is you just spread these bad boys out. Okay, this is actually tied as tight as it's going to get, so because it is crochet thread, I'm just going to trim it nice and tight, just like so. And you can just spread these out. I know that was probably a cheap way to do it. It's easier if you have somebody holding it, but it still looks just as good when you spread everything out. just like so. And so basically there is your Christmas ball again. It's kind of very similar to the first one. Okay. There's a slight variation of a change that I did. Here I chained only 12 because I thought it would be okay, but then what I wanted to do is I realized I had to really give it a good tug on that, and because of that it just was kind of too tight. So here I did chaining of 15 at the top to loosen it a little bit more. Again, if it's a smaller ball, you won't want to do the chain 15 at the top. And this is actually quite an amazing project. It's actually, these are really quite super nice even to give away. They're even super nice upside down because of the nice snowflake ideas that you have at the base. So until next time, this is the fourth gift of Christmas.